85% of the global population is lactose intolerant, according to the National Institute of Health. This number is even higher among non-white populations, such as Asians, Blacks, and Hispanics, which you've all heard here today. Those who cannot effectively digest the lactose in cow's milk, they experience really painful symptoms.
The newly updated recommendations stated that Americans should be consuming 3 glasses of dairy per day. This decision was heavily criticized.
This is of particular concern for communities of lower socioeconomic means and is disproportionately affecting minority ethnic communities.
The vast majority of people of color in this country are intolerant of the lactose that's in milk. Yet, because they think they have to eat this stuff, they go out, eat it, get sick, and think that they have some sort of intestinal problem. But in fact, when I encourage them to stop eating dairy, their problems cleared up.
Why on earth does the USDA have a food category on the dietary guidelines for Americans that makes over half of us sick, uncomfortable, and unable to breathe? For the USDA to continue to put its stamp of approval on a product that is unnecessary and unhealthy and rooted in a highly oppressive system is unconscionable.
Not only did these recommendations ignore lactose intolerance in certain communities, there was growing evidence around the link between dairy and chronic disease. A review of 47 studies, for example, including over 1 million participants, showed that men who ate dairy products were up to 65% more likely to develop prostate cancer, whilst those on the plant-based diet were 36% less likely to develop it. Another study from 2020 showed that drinking 1 cup of dairy milk a day increases a woman's risk of breast cancer by 50%, with 2 to 3 cups increasing that risk by a staggering 80%.
The recent research backs up the hundreds of other studies showing the link between dairy consumption and chronic disease, including cancer.
It was shocking that in 2020, the USDA continued to promote dairy, especially in the face of other mainstream medical establishments shifting away from recommending this food group, including Canada's Food Plate, which excluded dairy as an essential component after industry were prevented from influencing guidelines.
And it's actually the first time around this guide was based on science. All previous guides had invited the food industry to have seats at tables, to have votes at tables, and to have closed-door meetings.
But the question in 2020 was, why were other governments so slow to change their recommendations?
It's not acceptable that the NHS is collapsing under the burden of chronic diseases, many of which can be prevented or treated by simple diet and lifestyle change.
One of the reasons why the United States now has the highest number of deaths compared to any other country in the world is because of these pre-existing conditions. Let's think about them: obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, hypertension. Every single one of them cannot just be prevented and stopped, arrested in their tracks, but reversed with a healthy enough plant-based diet.
So in 2020, we found out that not only does eating animal products increase the risk of chronic disease, but these same chronic diseases make you more likely to suffer a severe or even fatal